When you navigate to quince.infragistics.com, you'll want to make sure you're signed in to take advantage of your private libraries. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And when I do sign in, you'll remember from previous videos that the home page sort of lights up with information. Could be unread messages or what's new information. I'm going to go right down to the corkboard to pop that up, and you'll notice on the bottom I have several private libraries that I've already created. You'll also notice on the left-hand side I can add a new design library. So let me go ahead and add a new one just to see how this works. I'll go ahead and say test library, say test library, and make your library. So the idea behind the private library is this is where I can start working on a project and adding assets that I can collaborate with my team on. A couple features on this library right off the bat. On the top here, test library, I can change the name of this right here. So I'll say test special library. I can also modify the description. I can add attachments or links. So the nice feature that we've added in a previous release of Quince was you can synchronize this with SharePoint. So if your development team is using SharePoint to store artifacts and assets, and you're using Quince to do the visual aspect of the design, to comment and collaborate with the designers, all of the attachments and links can be synchronized with the SharePoint list, which is actually really nice because it allows you to have each team working in the way that you're used to working, and the Quince and its unique features are specifically used for working on design. So I'll close that out. As well, you can add a library logo, so you can always update a logo to this library to make it look really cool. In fact, let's go ahead and browse, and I'll just use a motion framework example here, and it'll squeeze it in that just so you kind of get an idea of what it looks like. So we've updated our library logo, and now it has a sort of nice representation of what it looks like. You also notice on the bottom, test special library logo is updated, undo, so you could always undo things in Quince as well, so there's levels of undo. What I'm going to do first is start with what we learned about when we looked at the corkboard. I'm going to go ahead and add an example to this library. In fact, I'll add a dashboard example, and I'll add the motion framework examples. I'll click open, and this is going to actually add those 3 pages or 3 items to my library. Across the top, while those are uploading, you'll notice we have the share button, we have the design board, we have pattern, we have members, and preferences. Each one of those serves a special purpose in managing your library. So here our upload has finished, and there we go. So you'll notice they say fresh because they're brand new. I have 3 examples. Nothing has really been done to these examples yet, so on the right-hand side, I don't have that faceted navigation that you've seen in other libraries. So I'm going to open up my dashboard design. The overview plus detail here's on the bottom, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple notes on this library. So let's say here, header must be 14-point font, and you'll notice it's kind of small. So let's go ahead and make it bigger so I can actually see it, and I'll slide it over here. I actually spelled font wrong. Header must be 14-point font, and I'll add another note here that says use uniform grid for milestone display, and I'm going to go ahead and point to the grid that we have here. So there we go. So this is the normal way that I would just be working within a library, adding annotations. And in fact, for this grid, if I open up my display here, you'll notice patterns and attached files or links. I'll see if there's something, a grid layout pattern. So I'm going to associate this pattern with this particular note in this particular example. And I want to add a tag here for this example. So this is going to be dashboard home, and this will also be main view. So there we go. And this example name will be dashboard homepage. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm happy with that. I'll go ahead and close it. And you can see here that dashboard homepage is now the name of the example that I uploaded. If I want to go look at it again, you'll see that I have a 1 because I do have a related pattern. There's actually no threaded discussion here. If I select this, I can always add additional comments or others who are collaborating on this example in this design library can comment as well. So this is where it's better than email, because all of the threaded discussions around the design are contained within each example. There's another comment, and we can add that. And I'll just click done. And so now you'll see that I have one threaded comment. When I go ahead and print this, so I'll click print, and you'll see here that, of course, we have the logo for the design library, some examples on when it was actually created, and I'll scroll down. Here's an image without callouts. Keep scrolling. Here's the image with callouts and the attached patterns. So here is the comments, and you'll notice the threaded comment comes out to my PDF. I actually have the related pattern, so this is very useful because then someone can actually link into it and kind of see what I'm talking about. So this PDF printout is actually a nice tool that now if I don't want people to actually go into Quince, comment on things and look at what's going on, I can just send them the actual PDF, and I can close this out. As well, you'll notice in the private library now I have the grid layout. It says public, so it knows that this is actually a public pattern that's being used for this particular example. So the patterns that you associate with examples also show up in your library. And then you'll notice down here, I'm starting to get some filter views. So I can filter by dashboard, layout, main view. And of course, since I did comment only in the one example, that's what's going to show up. But as the design libraries get larger, you have multiple people tagging these images, adding descriptions, the filter becomes extremely useful. You'll also notice here under Show Me, you have multiple filters. You can do all library items, only examples, only design boards, and only patterns. So if I select only patterns, the patterns show up. Only examples, the examples show up. And of course, I can just select all library items. So that's kind of a nice feature as well. As these get larger, you're really going to need that filtering capability. So that's the basic idea of working with examples in libraries. You can upload them, you can annotate them, you can work with others on them, you can attach patterns to them, and you can tag appropriately so you can start organizing your libraries to make them useful for your teams. Thanks for watching.